this is Life Coach Rachel. Today I'm reading a passage from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Think Positive. This one is called I Feel Like Crap Today, page 317. There's a quote and it says, just because you're miserable doesn't mean you can't enjoy your life. Annette Goodhart. Positive attitude, yeah, right. You've got to be kidding, I thought, as my brother recounted his tale of this fabulous guy who shall be referred to as Oliver Optimist from this point forward, who had multiple sclerosis and a sunny view of the world. You'd never even know he had it, my brother said. He has the best attitude, exercises, works hard, and is really doing great. MS can be manageable. My jaw dropped. Not literally, but in my mind. My brother must have been the one with the lesions on the brain to suggest such craziness. This Oliver Optimist as a potential source of inspiration for me. Just diagnosed with MS, fresh off the precipitous decline from the exercising first thing every day, carrying 2 toddlers around at once, and part-time work at the University of Pittsburgh too. In just 2 weeks, having to slide down the stairs with my kids in my lap so I wouldn't fall, with a body so numb I couldn't feel the keyboard to type or tell you if my hand was resting on my leg or the arm of the chair unless I looked. I was not thrilled with my brother's tales of disease contentment. I was angry at what was happening to me. My sweet brother was only trying to help me see the bright side. He wasn't the only one. As the days went by, I introduced to other MS sufferers. Everyone knew someone who had MS, and every one of them had chipper stories of the way these people dealt with the disease as gracefully as saints, angels, or pixie fairies. And when I hobble home after hearing one of these tales of ease in the face of man-eating myelin sheath, I was left wondering why I could not see lightness, joy, or any of the upbeat gratifications in my own life. Frankly, it was nauseating. Then there were the situations where I met and spent time with people worse off than me. You'd think, based on my repulsion at the mere mention of polypositive or Oliver Optimism, that I might find a surge of happiness in the presence of people who had negative viewpoints or were severely incapacitated. But those situations left me petrified beyond words and ashamed that the sight of these people did not evoke compassion in my heart, but instead thoughts like, I'll never be able to live like that if I'm like her. I wanted to live my life as I had for 3 decades, on my own terms, but I couldn't sleep due to the discomfort of my limbs, which alternated between prickly numbness and intense pain so bad that merely wearing socks felt like walking on needles. I had anxiety and 2 small children who never slept through the night and never managed to waken at the same time in the night. I think I went 6 years with only 48 hours of accumulated REM sleep. The best thing you can do for yourself is a good deal of rest, my neurologist said. I think I crackled, looking unstable, I'm sure. That's my treatment, drugs that give me flu-like symptoms and rest. Please, my good doctor, let me explain to you exactly what my life looks like. So I went on in excruciating detail about how rest would not be a visitor in my home anytime soon. Then I waited. I waited for him to pull out a fat file full of stories and other Oliver Optimism, polypositive, were patients of his who were living grand lives with MS. I waited for him to delineate the ways I was lucky to have the degree of symptoms I did, that I should recognize how bad it could actually be. But he yanked a box out of a drawer and plucked a Kleenex from it, then another, and handed them over to me. He leaned over on his arms toward me as though he were a friend who asked me over for coffee. And with the most sincere look on his face, he said, "This really stinks, doesn't it? It's the worst thing I can imagine. I can see how hard all this has been, that your life has been completely upended. I can't pretend to know how awful that is. But I can tell you there's so much that can be done. We'll try everything until you manage the life you want. But yes, for now, it just stinks." It was the first time someone didn't try to talk me into either seeing how selfish I was for not appreciating that I could be much worse off, He was the first person who didn't tell me glorious stories of people who walk through life with MS as though they don't even have it. I know how bad all that sounds, how awful of a person I was at that time, but the doctor's words released me from the argument I was having with myself and with others about how to live with this disease. I realized that although I rolled my eyes at yarn spun a la Oliver Optimist, I was indeed an optimistic person. I may have moved slower than other people, my body changed for the worse, and some days all I could manage was to feed my children and lie on the floor and read with them. I couldn't show up for all the neighborhood mom activities because sometimes I couldn't manage anything except taking care of the kids. But every day I woke up and thought, today is the day I'm going to feel the way I used to. I'll do all the things I want to do. And every day that didn't happen, I reshaped what I thought of as everything I want to do. I stopped hiding the fact I felt like hell. If someone asked me how I felt, I'd say I feel like crap. And they look away that split second, revealing their discomfort with my crappiness. And I'd add, but I'm good. I'm getting used to feeling that way. We went to the grocery store and played at home. That's it. And that is a good day. And even though in my mind I knew those were not raving accomplishments, I meant it. I began to understand Oliver Optimist and Polly Positive. Being a positive person isn't shaped by the words that come from a person's mouth, but how they approach their life. By admitting things stink, a person can then control his or her reaction. Being optimistic or hopeful or happy in the face of something bad requires a deep immersion in the badness. It requires naming the stinkiness to expose the awfulness of it so that you can truly rise above it. Kathleen Shoup.